at the corner of Market and Mill, from the words of the residents of Danville, past and present, time and place, the here and now.
Warmed my heart.
Quaint, friendly, safe.
Quiet and quaint.
Friendly place to come to.
The flowing river.
Mills, river, small.
Small in some ways, but large in others.
A small town surrounded by beautiful countryside with many advantages.
Not perfect, but if you're looking for natural vistas in the proverbial small town.
It's your quintessential small town with a picturesque main street, beautiful architecture, original cobblestone streets in some areas.
A beautiful riverfront and riverfront park.
A stunning convent with towers over the town.
I love walking around and exploring. There's so much to see.
Friendly residents who not only say hello on the street, but love to make small talk.
Oh, don't talk about anybody in Danville. You might be talking about their relative.
Danville is the perfect mix of small town charm and Pennsylvania nature.
Nestled in a valley and surrounded by mountains and the Susquehanna River, there's plenty of hiking, exploring, and natural beauty for any outdoorsy person.
It's a great place to raise children, have pets, and make friends with your neighbors.
Lots of mountains, social clubs, wonderful churches. There's a great hospital. Let's see, two tours, a lot of historical buildings and homes. It's a good atmosphere. And amusement park, not too far away.
A former Pennsylvania mill town along the Susquehanna River that has a large medical center, a true regional resource.
Abigail Geisinger.
Thomas Beaver.
Jacob Cole.
Philip Moss.
The Baldies.
William Montgomery.
Daniel Montgomery.
Dan's Village.
Montgomery's Ding.
Zamboni Park.
Memorial Park.
Washy's Playground.
The Sidler Hill Cemetery.
The Bloody Third.
River Rats.
Beer caves.
The chicken steps.
Welsh Hills.
Mill Street.
Market Street.
Here.
Now.
A very resilient town when it comes to major floods. The Susquehanna River. It can be beautiful and at times can also test your inner strengths.
Yeah. St. Cyril's a big church. You can see perfectly from the campus of Geisinger Medical Center and many other parts of town. It's been a convent, a boarding school for girls, a retirement home for nuns.
Oh, apparently you can get to the top of the tower and see out.
How industry was in the 70s and 80s with TRW, KBS, Cabinet Industries, Merck.
Oh, the first T-rail was made here.
Danville once had a notable African-American community. At one point, it was the regional headquarters of the African Methodist Episcopal Church.
You know, part of Nobel laureate Toni Morrison's book, Song of Solomon, is set in Danville.
I still have my first Thomas Beaver library card. I couldn't get it till I was 10. I would check out Nancy Drew and be so proud.
Being able to ride my bike everywhere.
I met my husband my second week of nursing school. I was, of course, very sad when they demolished the School of Nursing building.
Growing up on D, L, and W Avenue by the railroad tracks and walking the railroad tracks.
When I was a kid, we lived in Cooper Township, just outside of Danville. And from as early as I can remember, my father would take me along on his Saturday morning rounds into town. This was in the 1960s, before I even entered school, and up until the first grade when my parents divorced and I moved to another town with my mother. The first stop for my father and me was always the Washington Hose Company, the Washies, as everyone called it. He would sit at the long bar and talk with guys from work at the TRW plant while having a beer or two. But now, back in those days, the beers were in those 7-ounce Pilsner glasses, narrow at the bottom with a bell shape on the top. Somebody would usually buy me chips and a soda. Sometimes I'd get a quarter and play a show pool. Though I was small, I got to be a pretty good pool shot. I'd look at the angles, figure out how hard to hit the cue ball. Oh, someone even taught me about English, the reaction you can get from hitting the cue ball at different angles.
Maybe every week we would stop at Jack Lee House Barbershop, which was in a building next door to the old bridge going across to Riverside. You remember Jack? He was a storyteller. I just love Danville.
Some things have changed.
Some things have mostly stayed the same.
Familiar moments.
Familiar people.
Places.
Events.
The Susquehanna continues to flow by this town.
New residents of this place are arriving.
And old residents of this place are departing.
Just as they have done for ages.
And ages and ages.
We acknowledge that we stand on the native lands of the Susquehannock.
Devotees of Bacchus. Time, late on a Monday evening, 1830s. Place, the Ferry Tavern, Danville, Pennsylvania. Inside the Ferry Tavern, dark and dingy, a classic dive bar even before there were dive bars. There are a number of empty glasses at a small table near the front door. John Lunger has the curtain of the small front window pulled aside and is eagerly peering out, bending this way and that, in an effort to see.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Do you see him?
Well, I see someone.
Is it him?
Yeah, I can't quite tell. I think so.
How far away?
2 blocks, maybe.
Well, is he headed this way?
I can't quite tell. I think so.
So specific.
Ah, he's gone.
Oh.
But not for long. Yeah, I am confident that he pulled into the law offices to talk to Ebenezer Green and attempt to pry into what new lawsuits are unfolding this week. That should last a solid, 6 to 8 minutes before he is on to the street again.
Well, you certainly know his business.
Well, why shouldn't I? He seems to know everybody else's business.
That's his job, isn't it?
Now, his job is to write what's news. Instead, he writes what's his own personal opinions and goes around gathering those opinions by sticking his nose deep into all kinds of personal places it needn't be.
I'll say.
Yeah. Mrs. Spence. Yeah, that sounds like it has some sauce to it. Where'd he stick his nose now?
Oh! Certainly nothing like that. It's just that he has been coming around a great deal.
Oh, has he now?
Always with the refrain, thank goodness for you, Mrs. Spence. You are the only respectable figure of this end of Ferry Street.
He may be right.
If it wasn't for you and your boarding house, I would believe this part of town was an actual hell on earth. Oh.
Fire and brimstone!
He calls us the devotees of Bacchus.
You know, I do not even have half the fun that Bowser says that I have. Now, quite honestly, I am jealous of the John Lunger that he goes on and on about.
I don't know why he doesn't think I'm respectable.
The company you keep, William? Huh?
Now that man is not respectable. Now, he spreads lies. He says the future is in iron work? Iron work! First of all, that's preposterous. Second of most, it is disrespectful. Are iron workers to be revered now? Is that it? What about those who are the heart and soul of the town already? Are all the other jobs not respectable?
Making chairs and repairing wheels is respectable.
Yeah, that's right. And working hard hours as a blacksmith. Thank you very much.
Or running a boarding house.
Or running a boarding house.
Or running a tavern, right? That's right.
That's right. These are respectable jobs that'll always be around long after the instant in iron is gone.
You're here.
I earn my rye, I can tell you that.
Yeah. Now he doesn't respect us. He looks down on us. He thinks that we are the devotees of Bacchus? Huh. Let's give him a good scare. Yeah, what's that chorus he hates so much, William?
The one he heard from the door of the rising sun?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Let's sing it as he goes by. Yeah? Midnight shout and revelry, tipsy dance and jollity.
It was not near midnight, fellas.
No, who cares? Yeah, the point is to scare the pants off the man. And if we time it right, there'll be an audience for it on the street.
An audience?
Yeah! He has always been out to embarrass me. Now, in school, the teachers loved to say how smart he was just because he had high marks on his papers, passing marks. And just because mine was low marks does not mean that I am deficient.
It would be best if we did not draw attention to ourselves.
No, the attention will be on him.
Listen, I told my wife I was going for a walk just like every Monday, and I would appreciate that she thinks so. That she thinks it's only coincidence that after every weekly dinner with her mother, I simply go for my weekly walk.
Pshaw!
You must not hear my voice.
What? Are you concerned about being respectable after all, Mrs. Spence?
I don't care about being respectable, but I cannot have him writing anything untoward in the paper. Those words are read far beyond these streets, and they're damning for a business owner.
Yeah, but there's no law against women in taverns, Mrs. Spence, not anymore. Not around here. If he prints otherwise, it's libel.
The hatters, shoemakers, tailors, these are respectable professions.
I'd rather be a balloonist.
A what?
Mr. John Weiss took off in his gas-filled balloon, traveled 87 miles.
Respectable or not, that's not a job though, is it?
Thousands gathered that paid 50 cents just to watch.
Yeah, But you can't do that more than once.
It was his 28th excursion.
Mrs. Spence? Yeah. Have James Irwin fill another gill of rye, and you are to be sure floating and full of gas.
Sound of talking on the street. Someone calling down the street. Mr. Bowser. John Lunger rushes to the window.
What was that? Yeah, he's calling down to Bowser. He's bound to be coming this way. Yeah, William, crack the door open so we can hear him coming. He's always humming his church tunes when he comes this way, so to ward off evil spirits.
Reluctantly, William Hartman does so, being careful not to be seen out the door. Mrs. Spence inches further away from the door.
Ah, I wish we had a fiddle.
A fiddle?
Yeah, he fears it most of all. Yeah, he believes that Satan is not far from where the violin is played. I saw him come to tears, drop to his knees when he once heard it coming out of Jackson's Tavern. Yeah, actual tears.
Actual tears?
Yeah, isn't that grand?
I don't know if I can go along.
If we could just make the sound of a fiddle, that'll get him reeling. Mrs. Spence, this is a job for you.
How so?
Yeah, you don't want Bowser to know you're here, right?
True.
Is that right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you don't sing, but only make the sound of a fiddle, then he can't possibly hear your voice.
I do not think I can possibly make my voice sound like a fiddle.
Unless you fiddled before. Have you fiddled before for old DB? Huh?
Oh, no.
We will sing Midnight and Revelry, Tipsy Dance and Jollity, and then Hartman, why don't you join them? Why don't you join in?
I do not enjoy the idea of driving a grown man to tears.
Well, and how about a little wetness, a little lower? The fiddle drove him to those tears, I think.
That is unkind.
Hardly. A man who calls us mere plain folk at every turn and speaks of the Indians as savages who smarted under the impression that they were wronged out of their lands by the palefaces. It wasn't enough to embarrass me all my life. Now he's turned into a whole population of people. Now, the massacre of Wyoming is what we deserved.
This is a sobering turn of conversation.
Look, Bowser has the black and white of print on his side in everything he spews forth to embarrass us all. He deserves much, much worse than a good scare. It is his good fortune that I am a responsible citizen of God's green earth and that I want to live to see another whiskey-loving day. And therefore, I am not only going to...
John Lunger hears the sound of a hymn being hummed with urgency just passing by the door. John Lunger quickly goes to the door and looks out.
No! The coward is gone. Striding straight down to the water with such effort in his walk that it looks like he could power a ferry with his gait.
We did scare him then.
I am sure we did.
Now, that does not count. We'll get him on his way back. But from a different angle, now that he knows that we're here.
I must be going.
Me too.
No. We're the Monday Club, a trio, a drinkers association. We are in this together.
I am going to take this opportunity to scurry across the street before Bowser decides to double back. Good night, Mr. Irwin. Good night, gentlemen. Cheers.
I had best be getting back. My walk is getting quite long now.
Oh, William, no, he's bound to come back, and we will be ready.
I'm afraid he will come back and I'll get caught. I need these Monday walks. If he tells my wife about them, they're through. See you next week.
Mr. Irwin, set me up with another Jill or two, would you?
John Lunger goes to the door, looks out, left and right. Nothing. All is quiet. He sits back down.
Midnight shout and revelry, tipsy dance and jollity.
Opening night at the Opera House. Characters: Emily, 13, an aspiring performer. Isabel, 14, tough. Time: December 23rd, 1873. Place: the Opera House, Danville, Pennsylvania. Isabel sits on the sidewalk outside the stage door of the Opera House, laying out playing cards. She wears short pants, a jacket, and a newsboy cap. Emily rushes in out of breath, wearing a fine frilled dress and satin jacket.
I made it! Oh, I'm here.
You are.
I am!
So what?
Where's your father?
Inside, I hope. Otherwise, he would not be doing his job guarding stage door very well.
I told you, I want to be inside before the opening curtain.
Yeah, you did.
And you then said, it just so happens that my father is working the stage door where one might be able to be let into the opera house before the curtain goes up.
I did.
Well, I assume that the one you were talking about was me.
You did you?
Izzy, come now. Are you playing me? Are you the Joker in this deck?
Why would I do such a thing?
I can only imagine.
Isabel stands, still holding her cards, shuffling them from hand to hand as she speaks.
What is it worth to you?
To be inside? A great deal. It's my dream, my future, it's my everything.
You don't say.
You know this. I am going to be the next Mitty Mattern Fisk, the next Lillian Russell, the next George Fox.
That might be more difficult with all of this.
You know what I mean. Are you going to get me in?
Perhaps.
What do you want, Izzy?
I don't like homework.
Fine. I will do your homework for you tonight. For the next week. The next 2 weeks. It would start to get suspicious if it was longer than that. My work does not look like your work.
Oh, what's that supposed to mean?
It means nothing. It's simply a fact. Now,
what else?
What else?
Sweets.
I do not have any sweets.
It's 2 days before Christmas, and you're telling me you don't have any sweets? Your parents haven't made a single trip to Corcoran's Confectionery?
No.
No cream candy, no butterscotch, no lemon drops, peppermint drops, sour drops, no birch, no hound whore.
Okay, yes. I have a few sweets. You can have them, but not the lemon drops. They're my favorite.
Oh, 'tis the season for giving.
Fine. Even the lemon drops. I have nothing else to give you. Please, can you get your father to open the door? Are you even certain he's in there? Because the play's about to start. I want to be there for the curtain speech, the buzz in the crowd, the anticipation, the limelight, to see the elegant and magnificent new opera house with its 1,400 folding opera chairs upholstered in crimson plush.
Whoa, it sounds like you really do want to get inside.
Yes, thank you for understanding.
Just one more thing.
What? What is it, Izzy?
What is one secret you don't want anybody to know?
I do not have any secrets.
None?
No. The play is about to begin. Why are you doing this to me?
Did you tell anyone you were coming tonight?
No.
You didn't?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Did you tell them that you were coming to see your friend Isabel?
I don't know.
You don't?
I don't remember. I don't think I did.
Why not?
I didn't think to.
You're embarrassed to be my friend.
I am not.
You are. I know it. You only act like my friend in public when I have something you want.
Of course, you're my friend, Izzy. We've been neighbors all our lives.
That's just it. When we're around other kids, you call me your neighbor. You don't call me your friend.
I didn't know I did that.
You have no secrets to give me?
No.
No sweet, sweet secrets?
No.
Not even about the time you may have spent at Oddfellows Cemetery?
No.
With Sonny McWilliams?
I do not know what you're talking about. How do you
If you want it kept a secret, then
This is unfair. I'm leaving. This is not worth it. Unfair, Isabel. You know how much I care about this night. I wore my Easter dress that barely fits to look respectable amongst the who's who of this town. To be here for the opening night of the stage on which one day I will perform. This could be the most important night of my life, and you have ruined it with your cruelty, Isabel. I do not want to call someone who's so cruel my friend.
I will tell you a secret. Because you're my friend. My mother's not on a long trip. She left us.
I know.
You know?
My mother told me.
How did she know?
I am sorry, Isabel.
You know, I always call you my friend, who also happens to be my neighbor.
Isabel moves to the stage door and gives it 3 quick knocks, then 2 slow knocks. The stage door opens. Isabel nods her head in the direction of the open door. Emily darts in, stopping in the doorway to turn to Isabel.
Was this the plan all along?
I had to have my fun, didn't I?
Izzy, please, please, next time, can we please just skip the fun part?
Merry Christmas, Emily.
Merry Christmas, indeed. You'll promise to come see me on stage for my opening night someday, won't you?
Are you kidding me? I'll be so rich by then, I'll be sitting in the box seats. I have my own dreams too, remember?
Emily sweeps into the opera house, the door closing behind her. Isabel moves to the door, opens it a crack to listen in. From off stage, the sound of applause, and then the curtain speech. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Danville Opera House. Thunderous applause. Surely Danville owes debt to Jacob Snyder for the splendid opera house that is the pride and the boast of its citizens. We will be celebrating this wonder for years, nay, centuries to come. So tonight, we will first turn our attention to the inaugural performance. Please welcome the prestigious Caroline Riching Bernard Company and their production of the sure-to-be timeless play, Ye old hoax! Thunderous applause. Isabel closes the door, smiling. She sits down and resumes laying out her playing cards.
The Road Between. Characters: Reverend Abraham Grant, African American, seemingly self-assured. Mrs. Ida Pierce, African American, strong. Time: November 1927. Place: Pittsburgh Conference, African Methodist Episcopal Church, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A meeting room of the AME Church, Pittsburgh. Oak paneled walls, a large desk surrounded by 8 chairs. Reverend Grant stands at one side of the room, near a bookshelf. He thumbs through a Bible.
Before I leave Pittsburgh, I need to know whether you are committed to joining us in Danville.
Greetings again, Mrs. Pierce. I have been honored by Bishop Ransom with the assignment, and I will, of course, fulfill his wishes.
To be assigned is not the same as being wholeheartedly committed.
I am confident that I, the congregants, will be pleased with my experience and abilities. I understand that you have the support of the other churches.
The Danville Ministerial Association has given us a most public display of support through their vote and their financial help. This is true.
And Reverend McGowan.
Was elected to membership in the association, yes, a role that I trust you will take on in his retirement.
Of course.
We are most grateful for the support of our spiritual peers, but this alone will not sustain us.
I was told that the congregations in both Danville and Bloomsburg are thriving.
They are.
I will contribute to the continued prosperity of the congregations.
You were in Baltimore before coming to Pittsburgh, Reverend Grant.
I was.
In these cities, your congregations were large.
Sizable, yes.
And you shared your duties with other pastors.
It was necessary. There was a great deal to be done.
There's a great deal to be done in Danville and in Bloomsburg as well. The work rests solely on your shoulders this time.
I have shouldered a great deal, as my fellow leaders will tell you. I am quite ready to lead my own congregations with great success, and I will prove so. My reputation is without blemish.
We do not need your reputation. We need your presence and dedication.
I am confident that the feedback that Bishop Ransom receives about my work will be positive.
We are not a stepping stone, Reverend Grant. We are a destination. If your intentions are to use the assignment as an opportunity, as a rung to another, you are not committed to us. The most successful pastors in our community behave as members of our community, not as visitors.
I lead in the manner prescribed by the tenets of our church. With every sermon, I strive to convince, to offer Christ, to invite, and to build up.
Your sermons are to those who are present,
where there are the greatest number of the quiet and willing hearers.
to believers and to non-believers,
where there is the most fruit.
how do we bring those others into the church? They need us perhaps most of all.
By invitation.
Go into every house in course and teach everyone therein, young and old.
Our church is our house.
And in a city, the house is near enough to all. In Danville and Bloomsburg, it is a struggle to reach our lost sheep.
Have they not been welcomed in?
Those who attend are rich in gifts and are conscious of their spiritual path.
This is wonderful to hear.
Again, I say those who attend are rich.
And those who do not attend?
The road between the two congregations is long.
2 towns, only miles apart?
10 miles. The travel from one to the other was made more difficult with the closing of the D&B just last year, the Danville and Bloomsburg Street Railway Company. In the more pleasant months, the travel between them is not a challenge. The winter months are a challenge.
I'm sure that we will manage. The many resources the congregations will surely provide.
We are rural. We are towns, but when you are on the outskirts or on the road in between, you will meet with the souls most in need.
They are welcome in our church, of course.
A mere invitation leaves those in need at the doorstep.
He that soweth little shall reap little, Mrs. Pierce.
Do you believe God is a Negro, Reverend Grant?
Excuse me.
As Mr. Turner declared, we have as much right biblically and otherwise to believe that God is a Negro.
I agree.
And furthermore, that no hope exists for any race who does not believe they look like God.
Do you doubt me, Mrs. Pierce?
I do not know you, Reverend Grant.
Why then these questions, these concerns? Who raises them?
I do.
On whose behalf?
On my own behalf.
My untarnished reputation must precede me, Mrs. Pierce. Sowing seeds of doubt in the community will lead to no good. Only once in my career did someone dare to cast aspersions. Only once did someone dare to make false accusations, whispering in the shadows so that I could not see them.
I work with the pastors, never against them. I am open and I am honest. I have no need for whispers. I speak loudly in the interest of all my brothers and sisters in spirit and in blood. I speak for my brother Edward. He was once an active part of our congregation. He lives between these 2 towns. He is now fearful for his safety after various incidents. And he does not travel to the church for lack of faith.
In God?
In his fellow man. My greatest concern is that our faith, our collected faith, the faith within each and every one of us will be emboldened. The moment I return to Danville, my report to the congregation leaders is due. I want to give them a report on their next pastor that will give them hope.
Assure them that I am a great man, or assure them that I am a man of great faith.
Are you also a man of hope? If you have hope in your heart that the lost can be saved, then you will join us with a commitment to sustain you and us.
I am capable, and I will, as I always do all that is in my power to serve God in what manner He sees best.
You evade my questions. You should know that in the rural climate, your cloak of theology may not keep you safe. The congregants of Danville and Bloomsburg will need you to have your feet planted in the earth, ready to work side by side with them in facing the politics of everyday life in these small towns and in the many areas in between. I asked you questions not as a reflection of any doubt I may have, but as a demonstration of my investment in your future success. I do not expect you to lead a one-man parade through the town singing, "Come sinners to the gospel feast, Reverend Grant." I only expect that you will make the concerted and repeated effort to reach every heart. Every heart. And I promise you, I will do this work as well.
I understand.
Mrs. Pierce goes to the door.
I will see you in Danville.
Mrs. Pierce.
Mrs. Pierce leaves. Reverend Grant returns to the Bible, more studied than before.
Searching for a Superhero by David A. Miller and the 6th graders of St. Joseph's School. Time, the not-so-distant future. Early afternoon on Friday. Place, the mayor's office, Danville, Pennsylvania. Inside the mayor's office, high ceilings, wooden walls with plaques and awards on them. The mayor is frantically lifting the piles of papers on her desk and putting them down, looking under the desk, beside the desk, in the drawers, under the piles again, as the borough manager enters. The borough manager, who is clearly in a hurry, carries a neatly organized pile of papers. As they enter, a buzz of conversation is heard outside the door. The borough manager closes the large oak door behind them.
There you are.
Yeah, am I late? I didn't think I was late.
Just in the nick of time.
Yeah, I did take more time than usual getting the formatting on the spreadsheets just right.
You have a pen.
Oh, your pen? Yeah, of course. Sorry.
The borough manager opens a pencil case which showcases an impressive assortment of writing implements.
What would you like?
Any kind is fine. I've got to be ready to take notes.
Really? That's pleasing to hear. I think you're going to like the projections for next quarter.
We've got to find just the right one.
The right one of what?
Did you bring the application for the greatest, biggest little county USA competition?
Of course. The application for the greatest, biggest, littlest county USA competition is to be postmarked by 4 p.m. today. Now, I need only your signature, and then I will walk it straight over to the post office after this meeting to send it priority mail.
We're going to make a last-minute change, an addendum.
We were very thorough. I can't imagine
We
that.
must win the competition this year.
Well, our application is very strong.
It's about to get much stronger.
Yes?
Oh, Danville is getting its own superhero.
Superhero?
The superhero of Danville.
Danville, Pennsylvania?
That's right. Danville, Pennsylvania is going to have its very own superhero to ensure that we win the greatest, biggest, littlest county USA competition this year. What time is it?
3:03 p.m.
Are the applicants here?
Oh, does that explain the unexplainable assortment of interesting characters in the office waiting room?
They're interesting.
I would say so.
Oh.
Some of them are wearing spandex. All of them are very colorful. At least one of them is carrying a spear of some kind.
Oh, wonderful. How many of them are there?
Maybe 10 or 12.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Incidentally, where is Carol?
Carol?
Your receptionist.
Oh, right. She left crying earlier today, blubbering something about not another harebrained scheme. I don't know what she was talking about. Anyway, call in the first applicant and get ready to take some notes.
The borough manager moves towards the door.
And how are your sketching skills? We're going to need a fantastic costume. First applicant.
The mayor sits at their desk. The borough manager pokes their head out the door.
Next.
The borough manager moves to sit in a chair at the side of the room. First applicant enters the room. They move at an incredibly leisurely pace. They are wearing a Danville High School hoodie and sweatpants.
Whoa. Cool.
Well, thank you for coming in today. We are very excited to get started. As you know, we are looking for a superhero for Danville. We are going to ask you a few simple questions to get started. What's your superhero name?
Sam.
Sam?
Yeah.
That's your superhero name?
And my real name. What changed? What works for you?
Yeah. Super Sam.
Oh, just Sam.
Oh, well, okay. What's your superhero power?
Probably strength. I mean, look at this. Iron Man strength. Am I right?
Okay. Why would you be a great superhero for Danville?
I've lived here all my life. Hardly even ever left. I'm all Danville. All the time.
A scenario. We are facing a crisis. There is a meteor heading straight for Danville.
Oh, yeah.
What do you do?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
I guess I would walk up onto the dike near the river, or maybe walk out onto the bridge to Riverside, because that seems like those places would be an awesome view. I think about meteors a lot, actually. During my graveyard shifts, restocking toilet paper at Giant.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome very much.
The borough manager moves to the door, lets first applicant out, then closes the door, then stays there at the ready.
How are we going to make Danville more exciting? How do we make Montour County more dynamic? A county for the future. We need a change. Something to move us light years ahead of the other small counties in this country.
Well, I really like Danville the way it is.
I like Danville the way it is, but I would love Danville with a superhero. Next applicant.
The borough manager pokes their head out the door.
Next.
Second applicant enters. They're wearing a silver and gray themed homemade superhero costume. The borough manager again moves to their chair.
Thank you for coming in this afternoon.
Anytime.
As you know, we are searching for a superhero for Danville.
It's about time.
I agree. Now, I have a few simple questions for you. What's your superhero name?
Second applicant gestures to their chest, an hourglass shape drawn on their gray t-shirt with a Sharpie marker.
Timekeeper.
Very
Oh.
Very nice. What's your superhero power?
I control time.
Oh, I like it. I like it. And why would you be a great superhero for Danville?
Time is like a T-rail. And with Timekeeper as a superhero, Danville is on track for a great future.
Mayor and borough manager look to one another approvingly.
Oh, a scenario for you. We are facing a crisis. Time has been made to travel backwards in Danville. What do you do?
Second applicant dramatically reveals the device. It is created from a TV remote control, silver duct tape, and the miscellaneous chargers and Ethernet cables commonly found in the junk drawer of someone's home.
Using my space-time modulator, I would first determine the cause of the rift in the linear continuum. Next, I would quantize a reversal in a time bubble, trapping the stubbornly persistent illusion that is time. Bringing it to a standstill, I would then inject the bubble with a Newtonian entropy flux capacitor and move the arrow of time in the direction of the future.
Oh my goodness! Oh my God!
Oh, yes, that is exactly what you would do. Thank you very much, Timekeeper. Thank you for your time today.
Good one, Mayor.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Oh, if you would please just wait in the lobby for a few more minutes while we complete the other interviews. We will announce our decision shortly.
In no time.
The borough manager escorts second applicant to the door and sees them out. The door closes.
Oh, now this is exciting.
I must agree.
This is really happening. You know, all the big cities have superheroes. We are going to be the Boston of the Valley.
The New York of Northeastern PA.
Oh, the Gotham of Pennsylvania.
Montour? More like Manhattan.
Oh, do we even need any more interviews?
Well, you know, it would be in our best interest to make it seem like the other applicants have a shot.
You're right.
The borough manager pokes their head out the door.
Next!
Third applicant enters, sweeping dramatically into the room in a curving, whirling pattern. They're wearing a long blue cloak/robe and a blue mask with a dynamic water motif. The borough manager quickly moves to their chair.
Dramatic.
What's your superhero name?
I am the mighty Susquehanna.
What's your superhero power?
I'm water.
What is your power?
I flow through the earth, a primordial source of life and a power greater than any other.
Sure, but why would you be a great superhero for Danville? Huh?
Without me, Danville does not exist. No settlers would have put down their roots here. The Susquehannock would have passed this land by for more fertile soil and means of transportation. I have provided life for the community since time began, and I will continue to do so until the last moment that the earth still breathes.
I think Time might have something to say about that. A scenario. We are facing a crisis. The next flood is predicted to come to our town at any minute. What do you do?
I roar and rage and sing out my songs of flowing through the lands that are mine. I know no bounds. Man-made structures are not of the earth. They are put on the earth. The people themselves are of the earth, sustained only by my resources. When humans take me for granted, I will remind them of my power. I am water. I am the blood.
That does not sound good.
Okay. Thank you very much. No need to stick around for the announcement. You can go ahead and invite the next applicant in.
The borough manager goes to the door. Third applicant stays in the room. The borough manager opens the door. There is no sound of chatter from the lobby as there was before. The borough manager turns back to the mayor.
There's no one there.
What?
Yeah, they're all gone.
Even timekeeper?
Even timekeeper.
I have dismissed them all.
You?
There will be no one to save Danville from the ravages of time and water.
With a dramatic flourish, third applicant peels off their mask.
It's old River Joe.
Joseph?
That's right, Jane.
Oh, I should have known. It's my pesky brother.
Brother?
Our sibling rivalry continues.
And this time the win goes to yours truly and to the river.
Third applicant leaves the room dramatically, sweeping out of the room in a curving motion, making loud river sounds as they exit.
Well, what do we do about the application?
Oh, I guess we send it in as is. We don't have enough time to change it now.
Yeah. We still have a great chance at winning the greatest, biggest little county USA. You know, Montour County is a pretty great place already.
You're right. Maybe we don't need another superhero. We've got heroes all around us here in Danville.
The mayor picks up the application.
Come on, let's head over to the post office before they close. Maybe we'll see Larry.
They walk out of the mayor's office together.